everyone, I have another problem here that you can't see me. Let's see if I can actually make this work, please. So we'll see. Hello everyone, thanks for joining. And today I was terrible at announcing, or actually not announcing this at all. So yeah, we're at the normal time every 14 days since the 2 times before. So fortnightly stream of my game development of this thing, which is gamebook, which is like Skyrim in text. Basically, you have freedom to explore a world, and everything is, instead of rendering in 3D, it's rendered in text, as in prose. All right, today I will have apparently only 1 hour for this, for the streaming, and so I have a pretty strict thing to look at, and it's probably not going to be pretty because it's basically debugging. But what I'm doing now is I have this kind of let me first see if anyone can actually see any of this. Can you? Yeah, probably. All right. So what was I? Yeah. So for writing content for this game, I decided that I don't want to write everything in Dart code. Because there's a bunch of text that I need to write also for like the rooms descriptions and for all these like setup things and stuff like that. So I have almost like a separate language, but the cool thing about the language is that it is mostly text. So let's see something that is pretty easy to understand. The test fight. That's too easy. Not too easy, but let's see. Right, so the start. There's things like I can define a room name, and then I define things like we're in the ruins of San Francisco. That's the actual text that will be printed to the screen. I could do this by actually writing Dart code that says like storyline dot report and put this sentence there, but there's just like a lot of boilerplate, and I don't want to do that. There's also little things like this where I'm saying by default, or like if the player is male, then we say young sir, and if she's a female, not email, then we say young lady, right? And things like that. I have things for we, because sometimes the party is more than 1 people, but we also want to report the right thing when it's just the player going somewhere alone. So all these like little things, and as you can see, one of the kind of design philosophies of this language is it's readable for like if you're not a coder at all, you're like, oh yeah, okay, so this is a first description, and it is, even if you don't have syntax highlighting like I have here, you will understand then, yeah, this is something kind of meta, and then this is the actual thing that we want to say, right? If it was something like first description, or if it was something like then other people won't be able to help me with this. So okay, and the other design philosophy is that we can have things like that, which clearly states that there is a code here, and I can actually write Dart code. I don't need, there's no like language which like tracks variables or something like this. This is actual Dart code, so I can do whatever I want with Dart, which is another design philosophy that normally these things don't follow because they want to make it really easy. So in most games like this, you have things like, oh, x plus equals 1, and that's about the amount of coding that you can do. But I knew that I want to do things like this, for example. So yeah, so it's less approachable, but it's also much more powerful. So one thing that I added recently is this. Let's add it here instead. So I have things like first description. This is what you, if you have a room, which in my game can be anything. The room can be like a meadow outside, or it can even be like a situation in some cases. If you have a room, you have first description and description. This is following Zork kind of. In Zork, you had the same thing where you said when you come to a room for the first time, it will give you a different description than any other time, right? So I could do description here. It can be none, or it can be something like, you know, the meadow is blah, right? And the things that I added recently is where, which allows you to define little things like among the trees, not trees, which is useful for the system when it kind of tries to render how you're like where you're going and so on. It can tell you, oh, you go back to the meadow outside the city or whatever, and then among the trees you see an orc, you know. So that's kind of the like little description of where it is. It's not really descriptive, like it doesn't tell you where exactly it is, because it is assumed that you know where you are, if it makes sense. Because we have these approaches that say like, yeah, I want to go from here to there. Anyway, so that's where. And then the more important one for me now is what's it called? After monsters cleared. And this is again like in Zork and other textual games like this, you had someone like you had a room, you would come to the room, there would be a long text describing what's in the room and like how it looks like and so on. And if there was someone trying to kill you, like a thief in Zork, or like the troll, I think also in Zork, you would just like read the whole thing, and then there would be something like, and there's a troll and it tries to kill you, which to me is a little weird. Like you don't go into a room and you don't like take it all in and then, oh wow, there's someone attacking me. No, it's mostly you come somewhere, then there's like a fight or something, and then after the fight you have the time to actually take things in and look around and stuff like this. So that's what I wanted to do. Like if there is a monster in the room at the start of the game, you go there and you will get some description of where you are. Like you come to a meadow and like there's the log and environmental stuff that you might need for the actual fight. Then you have the fight, and you can actually escape from the fight and re-engage or whatever. But then after you win, if you don't win, you never know what's actually in the room. But after you win, you get some kind of like, oh, this is, by the way, the meadow is this and that, and there's like trees, and we can get a little more involved about like what's in there. And now you're in the mode also of like picking up items and stuff like this. So now you care about these things before you just need to survive, right? So that's cool, and I added this, and I have some source generation in place that kind of makes this go. So this is rewritten into actual Dart code that then I can inspect. The problem is that yesterday I found a bug in my thing. So not here, but let me see. I wrote this, which is which is basically like after you deal with something in one of the rooms, we have this like a lot of different things that could happen, and I'm trying to be very reactive at this stage because I want people to understand, yes, everything that I do in this game has consequences and is remembered. Because this is at the start of the game, I want to make sure people understand. Like, it's still the case after, but in the first phase, like, I want to kind of describe it to them all that this is happening. So, for example, if you suggest at the start of the game that a goblin or a movement in the trees is actually a raccoon, Brianna, your co-warrior, can be kind of smartass about it and said like, wow, raccoon my ass, because by now you've actually fought with a goblin, not a raccoon. Anyway, so yeah, it's supposed to be funny. Anyway, I have this, and the thing is that I have these rule sets, which is basically like if-else statements, let's say, and I have two rule sets nested into one another. Here I'm testing that this is the case. So this is a test, right? So this passes. This is a test that passes, and you can see that there's a rule set with a rule, and then another rule set with a rule in it, and it works. But this thing that I wrote yesterday does not work, and I'm pretty sure it's almost correct. So there's something happening, but I don't know what. Something's bad. Something's wrong. So what I did like yesterday evening is I just copy pasted the problematic code into a new test. This rule set within a rule set advanced, which I should rename, and after I understand what's going on, and then I just expect that this is parsed normally, right? Let's see. I try to check once in a while that I'm actually showing what I'm trying to show. Cool. Looks like I do. All right, so let's see. I'll run it again. This was run a long time ago. I mean, yesterday evening. So as you can see, this is expected to return normally, but actually it throws a format exception. And this is format exception, and rule set tag was found in a block that isn't a rule set on line number 63. And the type stack, which is basically as we're parsing this text, we have a stack of things, like it's a tree, right? So it's like AST. So we need to at each point know like where we are. So that's the type stack, and it is actually pretty weird that on line 63 we have block type text. So we'll go through it line by line. Let's do it. So yeah, I am not prepared to do this. It's possible that I will terribly not understand what's going on. That's fine. I wanna go outside. What? I'm not doing the right thing here. Let's do it again. Okay. All right. So parse sequence. So we have a text. That's the whole text that we have there with the lines, right? So This is just some random text, and then there's a rule set and stuff like this. Then we have the sequence. So it's a sequence of blocks. And then we have the type stack, which is the where we are now with it. And at first we are in text. We're always starting with just being in text, and then as we get on into these little like rule set and rule, and then an end rule set and so on. Wait a minute. No, I think that's fine. Yeah. Then we are going through that. So let's see. So current content is we're on line 0, line number 0, and the current line is where after monsters cleared. And now, like, are we opening code? Basically, is this line just this? No, we're not. Are we closing code? No, we're not. Are we opening rule set? No, we're not. Are we closing rule set? No, we're not. In that case, the current will just copy the current content and go again, right? Next line is just nothing, so we'll just add that. Next line is actually a rule set, so it's not opening the code tag, it's not closing the code tag, it is opening the rule set tag. So we add, if we are in a rule set, we would add a new rule set. If type stack last equals if we're not in block in text, then that's bad. And then we'll get the current text. If it's not empty, we'll add it. So the current text is the text that we went through. That's just we are after monsters cleared, and then we clear it. We remove the. This is interesting. I'm not sure why we are removing the last thing in the type, which is the text, and instead we're adding a rule set. All right, but that's fine. Now we're in a rule set. So now the type stack is just rule set, and the children consists currently of just the block, if the text block, which set has we're after monsters cleared. Okay, does any of this make sense to anyone else? It does to me, but I don't want to be like totally obtuse. Anyway, I'm not sure if that's a word. Okay, so line, now we are at line rule, so we should add the rule as a tag, shouldn't we? Interesting. What are we doing with the rules? Okay, we're not making new children for rules themselves, so we probably do it somewhere else. So now the line is actual code, but then all right, now the line is just blank line. All right, now the line is not a blank line. It says the fight is over. So I should probably show you the we're going through this code. We're after monsters cleared. This is just like a debug thing that I added. We are in the rule set. We went through this. The fight is over, and then we're going into another rule set. This is going to be interesting. So let's put it this here, and let's see. I'm still trying to figure out if everything seems to be fine. So good. All right. So now the line is nothing. It's a blank line, as you can see it is here. Maybe you can see it is here. And now we're in another rule set. All right. So it's not a code line. It's a rule set open tag. And as you see, if type stack contains rule set, which it does, type stack contains currently rule set, just rule set. We add rule set to it, and we add the current content, the line to that. Interesting. And then we continue. So now it's weird. Now the type stack is two rule sets in each other, which is what we expect, right? We are now here. Maybe this will be easier to understand. So this is the rule set that is inside another rule set. And then the big rule set is all the way here. All right, so okay, so that's a rule. Now there's another one. I mean that's just what's going on. Then okay. Oh, I think I know what's going on. So I think the code works when you don't have a this tag in it. But let's see. So raccoon my ass. Okay, that's just text. I'm still looking at the line here. Now that's just a blank line. All right. And rule is not it. I'm sorry, this must be super boring for people, but this is extremely interesting for me. Default. Oh, default. Yeah, I should do that. Then I'm waiting until this. Maybe. Am I? Well, as I said, that's here. So we're close. Next line will be blank. And rule does nothing. And then the next line is closing the rule set. The type stack is two rule sets inside each other. So we are adding that. We are removing the one rule set. And then ignore. If type stack is not empty and type stack last is rule set, we're still inside the rule set. All right. Okay. So we're inside the rule set for a long time, right? And looking at the type stack, it's still like we're still there, we're still there, we're still there. I want to see what's wrong with. Wait a minute. Ah, that's why. Okay, so now we're in code. And it's, okay. So code open tag. Yeah, we're removing the, that's stupid. Why are you removing the type stack? So yeah, so okay, so instead of actually keeping the stack, for some reason I at some point decided to when I hit the code block, I remove from the stack, and then I add the code, and then when that's done, I remove the code and add text, which makes sense if there's no nesting, but there is nesting, so I don't know why I did this. So let's see if this will help. I will basically just add the block type of code, and I will remove the block type of code here. Same here, I think, right? Like, why am I? Let's see. Let's just run the test. Unclosed regexp. What? Unclosed. All right. Let's debug it. We should. Okay, something's wrong here. Excuse me. I'm trying to get to the. Ugh. Okay. Unclosed. Unclosed. Unclosed rule. What? I should probably go here. Okay, get block contents. Takes a list of lines and returns the topmost blocks with given open tag and close tag. Takes a list of lines. The tags are included by default. All right. So we get a line and we get some open tag. Okay. Where is this coming from? Rule then tag. So this is not it. Parse rule set. Oh, okay. Right, okay, so yeah, now I understand. So we have, we're now, I think this now works as we think it does. But the problem now is that we now say, hey, this whole thing, this whole rule set is one rule set, and then we're trying to parse it whole. We should basically, whenever we're inside a rule, takes a list of lines and returns the topmost blocks with given open tag and close tag. Yeah. See, like these little things. I'm glad that I'm learning a little bit about like parsing code, basically, but so we're going through lines. For each line, we see if it's an open tag. It has an open tag, and if so, then we go to one depth 1, and we still lines. Why are we end rule and end rule set? Where is end rule and end rule set? Is it here? Is there another one? And so this one, that's terrible. Okay, I guess we'll do another debug run then. Except, right. That's not what I meant. Okay, and then where is this? Where are we actually doing the... Where are we calling this again? Parse rule set. Oh, rule set close tag. Right, so when I... Interesting. When I close the rule set, I will actually parse it. So this calls for... this is basically... This is maybe the wrong approach to parse this thing. Luis Renades. This is the real boring show. It is. Hey, Venetos. Yeah, this is extremely boring, but important. We are getting to... I should probably, you know, like at this time, I take something to draw on and draw, but I don't have anything like that here, I don't think. So let's do this. So we have some code and we are trying to parse it into blocks. Blocks are these things that have children and they have a type and some content. Yeah. Right? So we start with at the top, it's a tree. At the top we have a sequence block that has either what are the other types? Sequence, text, code, and rule set. Code, rule set, one rule in the rule set, and rule condition. These are the different block types. The problem is when we have a code there, then parse sequence. Right, there's code. Okay, one thing that I want to do is just basically remove all this other bullshit and do basically the same thing as here. Except one of these will have code in it. So this is like print hello with code. And now I think we should get the same failure like before, right? Yes. It's an unclosed rule. Weird. So let's go through this again. Not yet. Yes. Oh. All right. So we go line by line. We add to the stack. Yeah, okay, maybe. So if that's a code open tag, right, yeah, I think, oh, okay. I don't want to say I got it because that's just bad luck. But I think what's happening is that we're basically opening the code tag even if we're inside something that we should be ignoring at this point. Think. So, for example, if type stack is code, then we should not do this. If type stack last equals rule set, if we're in rule set, then we should just add the line. Oh. Yeah, we should just add the line and go because that code will be hopefully parsed elsewhere. Continue. And again, if here it's a rule set, so here we say ignore code blocks inside rule sets, they will be parsed in what's it called? In parse rule set? What is it called that? I think. Yeah, parse rule set. In parse rule set. Wow, I can type. Cool. This can be added to directory, so that's one. And then when we close the tag, when we see a close tag here, we also do this. All right, let's see. This will still fail, I think. Ooh, no, it doesn't. All right, my question is, does it actually do anything with the code? Or will it just do it verbatim? Where are we? Parse rule set. We'll parse each rule, and each rule is condition and the get block contents. Yeah, I think that's not gonna do what we want. We kind of need to parse the sequence there. Vanatos is like, yeah, we expected the test to fail, but it passes. It passes, but I don't think we're testing it well enough. We're just saying like it returns normally. That's true, but I don't think we'll have. Yeah, let's expect a little more here. So, okay, let's see. So we expect it to have one children, the rule set, and then that rule set have one child, the rule, and that rule has first condition with this, okay, and first consequence has one is just a rule set. All right. Let's go more. So that rule set has one rule. So nested rule set is this. And then the nested rule set has one rule, right? Yes. Nested rule is nested rule set children single. And again, I can do this. And then the consequence nested is nested rule children last. And that nested consequence children contains for strings this means string. For maps it means that the treble has a matching element. Right. Children, okay. Length is 2. Children last type is block type code. Now it should not. Now it should fail, I think. What? Damn, it works. Okay, I did not expect that. Okay, Vanithus, unrelated question. I see that you divided the test in 3 files. Do you usually divide them by file, by feature? Correct, yes. I should be much better in testing this actually. But yeah, this is just the part of the project that does the building. I have the main part is the test, has many more tests. This is the building pass. And I had like this one is a really simple recase. Basically, there's a package called recase, which I didn't like some of the things, so I basically, because it's open source, I copy pasted, forked it, and added only the things that I care about. And then there's this functions here. So yeah, this one should probably go into. Not yet. At some point, it might go into multiple files because this seems a little, you know. And also, this is not as probably many people now scream at home. Many people, out of the 3 people scream at home. This is like you should not have this many things in one test. But you know, at this point, I'm kind of debugging and testing at the same time. All right, so let's see if this is actually doing what we expect this to do. Probably not. Not completely, but it's at least it compiles. Let's see. If I play this, yeah, it works. But let's start. I can take the dagger. The goblin tries to ruin my stance with a fainted slash. I will counterattack. I will thrust at the goblin. I thrust the dagger at the goblin and he tries to sidestep. Too quick and pierces his left eye. He grunts in pain and briefly holds his hand over the wound. He growls. Tamara violently strikes on the goblin's sword. The goblin is already off balance. The pounding makes him fall to the ground and he smirks. Tamara blows in frustration. I hate this place. Okay, he's on the ground. Well, wait a minute. I wanna see. Right. We'll probably not see that failure, the particular failure that I see here. Will probably not show up because Tamara needs to be wounded for this to happen. But yeah, I can kick the weapon, kick the swords out of his hand. Tamara kicks it out of reach. The goblin tries to crawl out of harm's way. I can totally leap at him. But he doesn't succeed. I smash down on him. Tamara strikes down with the sword at him. But he's able to roll out of the way. He tries to crawl out of harm's way. Not the best pros here. I want to thrust at the goblin. Why is it so hard? Yeah. I thrust at the goblin and he dodges it. Why is... Okay, so this is wrong. Thrusting at goblin while on ground is harder than throwing the knife, the dagger. Anyway, I'm just gonna cheat. He's done. Yeah, oh, okay. So this is what happened. But he doesn't. I pierce his abdomen and he stops moving. Cool. So now we're in this. The fight is over. Well, as I said, there was the last one. And young sir, call me coward one more time. I called her coward, yeah. But this wasn't parsed. Which means we're not doing enough we're not doing enough, how to call it? Oh, parsing. We're doing it verbatim at some point. So I will, next thing I'll do, and this is probably going to be off the record because I need to be ready to dash, is I'm going to, just so you know, just so you know what I'm going to do, is I'm pretty sure, wait a minute, what am I doing here? I'm pretty sure that this should be actually, when I'm parsing rule, I should parse not just block contents, what does it give me? Yeah, it's just a string. So wait a minute, this is consequent text, and I'm actually parsing the consequence. So why am I not? See, I'm like going deep with this, which means okay, parse blocks. Sequence block was there. Create description statements. Right. Define, so this is not what we're not doing here with this. This is the if block substitution. And I wonder why we're not. So we're parsing blocks here. Oh, so we probably need to create description statements for the text inside this as well, instead of just parsing blocks. Is that what's happening? Okay, anyway, I'm over time. As I said, this today it's only 1 hour. I have some questions. I see that you do, or keep a single unit as big file and the other ones are as a testing sandbox. Tips for next stream: using a Wacom and a pen to sketch out the ideas. Yes, I would have to. That would be another thing to buy though. But yes, it would be perfect. Or maybe I could just have like a normal paper and show it to you, although I'm not sure if that's gonna work. Anyway, thanks for watching. I have been very boring this episode, but it has been super, to me, that has been super helpful to kind of be able to go through this and talk through this and find out what's happening. I think the problem now is that this is not recursive enough. You know, like I'm creating description statements only once and then I go parse blocks. I think I should be, for each block, I should be creating their own description statements. But what do I know? What do I know? We'll see. I still don't understand. Anyway, thanks for watching and see you in 14 days from now for 2 hours that time. And since we'll have here in the US, there's some vacations. Hopefully I will have some more progress till then than usual. But we'll see. Maybe I'll just slack off and be actually enjoying my holidays. All right. Thanks and bye.